I know. We're late, but we're late for a good reason, because there were a couple of announcements that we had to get into our stream, and they were coming out as soon as the stream started. And those were the announcements that caused this big green candle and then this big red candle that is coming down. So let's look at what caused this big green candle and what caused this big red candle. And then we'll see if it changes our thesis for the rest of the week and for the rest of the year. And then I'll tell you why I am dumping, not all my ETH. I mean, I'm not going to dump all of it, but I am going to dump a significant portion of my Ethereum today. The last time I did that, I went into Solana. It paid off. Today, I'm going to show you what I'm putting my money into. Don't miss today's show. Also, you may become a millionaire if you watch till the end. Guarantee you that. Let's do this. Yo, welcome back, guys. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I am here every single day at 9 a.m. EST, but we always start at 9:30 a.m. EST. We never ever start on time. We're like the worst people in the world when it comes to that shit, eh? We never start on time. No jokes. Today we didn't start on time because there were some big announcements that happened, and those announcements actually moved the market. So let's look at what happened to the market. Well, the market went up. Bitcoin went up from, I don't know, about 57,000, and it went all the way up and touched 59,600. And there was one major announcement that caused this. And then straight away, there was another announcement. And I think the two announcements were very, very, very well timed to bring the market down. Now, we have actually been expecting a whole lot of turbulence this week. There's a whole lot of turbulence that we've been expecting this week. You know about that because you've been watching our show. Guys, I think I'm going to burn down this fucking studio with these monitors everywhere. So many monitors, I don't even know how to drive these things anymore. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the announcements. We're going to talk about why the hell I'm selling a whole lot of my ETH. And yes, I am selling a whole lot of my ETH. It's not going to happen today. It's going to happen over a period of time. It's going to be gentle, but I'm going to show you the thinking behind all of that. So it's going to be a very, very, very big show. Now, if you are new to our channel, I think the best idea in the world right now is for you to stop whatever you're doing and subscribe to our channel, because this is really the channel that saves lives. It changes people's lives, and it makes you wife-changing money. Yes, I said it. It makes you wife-changing money. Now, it's not the type of wife-changing money that you think. It is, what happens is you make so much money from watching this channel that your wife actually becomes nice to you. She changes the way she acts towards you, and she becomes nice to you. And that's why we call it wife-changing money. So for those of you who thought that wife-changing meant something else, you had it all wrong. You had it all wrong. Wife-changing money means that your wife actually changes and she becomes nice to you because you're making so much money. That's what wife-changing money is. Now, let's talk about how we are changing lives here at Banter. This is one of the ways we're changing lives. That is StarLaunch, and StarLaunch is now trading at $12.65, which is about 200 times the money that we put in. Now, we gave away $400 IDO spots in StarLaunch, and we gave away 50 of them. And this is the impact that has on members of our community. So this is from someone that you know. He won it here. His name is Subzareen Singh, and he said, I cannot say this over enough, Run. Over $80,000 worth of StarLaunch in the giveaway. I honestly feel so blessed, so grateful, so lucky from the bottom of my heart. I cannot thank you enough for how much you've done for me and others like me. My only wish is now one day to meet you in person, and thank you and the whole of our Crypto Banter family. Someday, much love, much honor, Angel Run. I'm not the angel. I'm just giving away things because that's what we do at Crypto Banter. And we do it because we really, really, really want to change your lives. And this is just one example of someone's life that's absolutely changed. The best thing about this is that it's not about the money that he made on StarLaunch, but if he stakes his StarLaunch, which I'm sure he will start earning the other token. It's called Hydrazine, I think it's called, right? And you can then use that Hydrazine to get Monkey Ball. Now, Monkey Ball will also do 200x, and then you're going to get 200x on StarLaunch, and then 200x on Tiny Colony, and 200x on Hydrazine. So that is the power of how we're changing lives in this channel. So if you're not yet a member of the Crypto Banter family, now is the best time to subscribe. We also have another giveaway. The other giveaway is the BanterBags. That is where we get pre-IDO allocations. We put them into the BanterBags, and when we get to 700,000 subscribers, we give those straight to our community. So is there anything else we need to get into before I can talk about why I'm selling ETH and the whole market narrative? Let's look at what happened here. Let's just look at what happened here. Look at that. So what is it that caused this massive green candle here on Bitcoin? Well, let me show you. There was an announcement that Biden has picked Jerome Powell to lead the Fed for a second term as the US battles COVID and inflation. There was speculation that Joe Biden didn't really like Powell, and that he could potentially get rid of Powell and get somebody else into in the new term. And now what we're seeing is that there is a vote of confidence that Powell is actually going to stay in his position. Now, what that means is that the policy is probably going to remain unchanged. And if the policy remains unchanged, then what we can expect is a whole lot more money printing. And money printing is exactly what got us here. And it's exactly why we have Bitcoin where it is. We didn't want Powell to be removed, because if Powell got removed, we wouldn't know who's going to replace him. So remember when we wanted Jay Clayton to be removed from the SEC, and we wanted Gary Gensler. We got Gary Gensler, and we realized that Gary Gensler, better actually the devil that we knew in Jerome Powell than in Jay Clayton, than in the devil we don't, which is Gary Gensler. We knew that we thought we were getting something better, and we weren't. The keeping of Jerome Powell means keeping on money printing. So that is why we got this big candle over here, because over here, they said they are keeping Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell also said that they're not even thinking of increasing interest rates. Remember, he said, we're not even thinking of increasing interest rates. And that is where the red candle started to come. Because immediately after that, there was a second announcement that money markets now expect a US Federal Reserve to raise interest rates by 25 basis points by next June or July. Okay, so by next June or July. So the market's saying, look, we got Jerome Powell, green candle, and then we got the red candle, which is because now the market's actually expecting the interest rates to go up. I think that we can delete this one. And what you can see is that we've got Jerome Powell back in here, and I don't think they're going to increase interest rates for a long time, because they're in a predicament, they're in a conundrum, they don't know what to do. There's nothing else that they can do but carrying on printing money, and effectively by doing that, what they're doing, I hate this fucking studio, what they're doing is actually just increasing the price of Bitcoin. So that is what caused the red candle and the green candle, or the green candle and the red candle, and that's also what caused us to be late, because as we were about to go live, and then Fred drops this bomb into our group and says, guys, has anyone seen this? And then we had to do all the research to get us live and talking to you guys. Now, regardless, you can see that we did say that we were going to have quite a turbulent week. This is Sheldino's chart. He's out. I think he's gone drinking. So the chart, you can see Sheldino said, look, we're going to expect turbulence. We're probably going to go up and down here, hit the resistance here, come all the way down to here, because it is the biggest, or it's not actually the biggest futures closeout. Let's look at how the futures closeout compares to the rest of the futures closeouts. So this is, just so that you can see, that is the futures closeouts. It's not the biggest futures closeout that we had, but it's quite a big month-end futures closeout. And that's the green is the ratio of calls, and the red is the ratio of puts. Calls are much more optimistic or buying, and puts are the ones that are selling. So that is the futures. And remember that in every one of these options and futures closeout, we tend towards a point called max pain. And that is when the buyers and sellers wrestle to try and find the point of max pain for each other. And ultimately, every single time that they wrestle for this point of max pain, it happens towards the end of the month, and the Bitcoin price starts to go down towards the point of max pain. Shaldino Tentino made us this chart, and it showed how every single month end before the month end, the price of Bitcoin went down towards the price of max pain. And then after the options close out or the futures close out, bang, it went straight back up. And this month is actually no different. So what you can see, let me just go down here. Going to burn the studio, of course. Here we go. So look at that. So this is a price versus the point of max pain. And what you can see is that right now, the point of max pain is at about $58,000. So remember, this changes between now and Friday, but right now, the point of max pain is at $58,000, and Bitcoin is exactly at $58,000. So we got to watch this the whole week. We have to watch this the whole week to see where the point of max pain is relative to the price. And then we can consolidate and we can make sure that we trade accordingly. Now, this National Jimbo says it right. He says max pain equals max gain, because what's going to happen is we're going to get into max pain. And then on Friday, after the options close out, we're going to get max gain. And if you ask me, I think what's going to happen is I think that this coming weekend is going to be one of the biggest crypto weekends ever. I think this week's going to be choppy and turbulent, but I think that this weekend might be one of the most aggressive crypto weekends that we're going to see for a while. Look, I may be wrong, but recently I've been right more times than I've been wrong, and that's probably because it's a bull market. Okay, so it's not because I'm smart. It's because it's a bull market. Yeah, I did tell you guys that the patient person, let me show you something. So I did say to you guys that the patient people are the people that are going to win in blockchain. And patience means sitting on your hands and not taking a trade when there's no trade to be taken, but it also means sitting on your investments. And there's a big problem with patience in this game. There's a massive, massive, massive problem with patience in this game, because people come into this blockchain world and they see the returns that people like you and I are making, and they think that they can make the same return, but they haven't put in the same effort. They haven't put in the same time and effort and research and energy. And so what happens is they walking into a casino, but we're in the same place, but we're not in a casino, because we actually have done the research. We've looked at the fundamentals. We understand the market cycle. We understand the on-chain data. And we understand that sometimes, usually, the best thing to do is just be patient. Right, just be patient. And to that end, you know that I was sitting on about 25% in cash. And this weekend, even though there was a whole lot of bullish news coming out into the market this weekend, I only deployed 20% of my 25%, which leaves my cash emitter back at 20%. So you see, my cash emitter is actually back at 20%. I only deployed, even though the market was flying high, I sat on my hands and I said, you know, this does look bullish and there are a whole lot of bullish announcements, but I'm going to only deploy 20% of my cash. Why? Because I'm patient. Why? Because I see the market cycle. And why? Because I know that impatience in this game is going to get you wrecked. So we'll talk a lot about patience and how patience works in investing in blockchain. And then we'll talk about how I've lost patience with ETH. And I'm not the only one who's lost patience with ETH. And then I'll show you what I'm doing about it. Let's look at what I bought over the weekend. I did tell you I did tell you over the weekend that I'm buying this stuff over the weekend, but let's quickly look at what I bought. So the first thing that I bought was I bought Elrond. And the reason why I bought Elrond is because they announced this $1.2 billion USD, $1.2 billion liquidity mining incentive on the Maya DEX, which is the DEX on Elrond. Now, the reason why I did that was because, let me see if I can get you guys let's get a chart of Elrond, and I'll show you something. EGLD, let's go to EGLD on Binance, and I want to show you something on Saturday. When that announcement came out, Saturday was the 20th, right? Yeah. So the announcement comes out. the announcement comes out, and Elrond is sitting somewhere here, and nothing happens to Elrond. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is a huge announcement and nothing's happened. And I bought it like somewhere here at about $380, and bang, now it's up at $470. So that was one of the things that I landed up buying this weekend. I also topped up on my SFI position. I've told you guys before, SFI for me is a long-term hold. And for me, that was one that I wanted to top up on. And I did. I topped up on some of my SFI position. I also told you guys Kujira. Kujira, no one knows where to buy Kujira. In fact, the price of Kujira is not even available on CoinMarketCap yet or on CoinGecko. And so no one even knows about this thing. And the IDO price was 12 cents and it was trading at $1.20. At $1.20, I said to you guys, it's a no-brainer. And I think now it's at about $3. Well, what's the price now? I don't even know where to look for the price, to be honest. That's how much I care. And the last one that I bought this weekend was Cardstarter, because I said to you, at $660, Cardstarter is a no-brainer. We're going to have Cardano season soon. Let's actually look at this cards. We're going to have Cardano season soon, and then you're going to want the Launchpad tokens. Yeah, there we go. So it was at $660 yesterday. I told you to buy it. It's now at $845. I know some of you will say it went up because I told you guys to buy it, but it doesn't work like that. I mean, we can move markets for a short period of time, but not for a long period of time. But the idea is that you have to have patience in this game if you are going to make real money. You have to understand the market cycle, and you have to have patience. You can't be like the normal retail investors that come here and they want to make life-changing returns, wife-changing money. That's the money when your wife starts changing and she becomes nice to you. That's wife-changing money. It's because lots of people were complaining about us saying wife because they didn't understand us. They didn't understand. Of course, they didn't understand. So you have to understand the market cycle, and you have to have patience, because I showed you when we spoke about making money in crypto investing, I said to you that the most money I've ever made was actually because I was forced to be patient. I made a video. You can go check the video. The video says how I took $35,000 and converted it or grew it into $35 million. And the moral of that story was that I was forced to be patient. I was forced to hold my positions because there was no liquidity, and because I didn't actually have the keys for that laptop to open up that laptop to start accessing the crypto on that laptop. And so what happened was I was forced to be patient, and when I looked at the wallet again, it was over $30 million. So patience is the name of the game here. Understanding the market cycle is one thing, and then being patient and waiting for the right trade or the right investment or sitting on the right investment. If you understand the market cycle, you have a huge advantage to the retail investor who is walking into the casino. Now, we study the market cycle. We are seeing the signs of the market cycle. Let me show you, we are seeing the following. We are seeing that Elon Musk is selling. He sold nearly $9 billion worth of stock in 2 weeks. And he's only halfway. Now, he's selling $18 billion worth of Tesla stock. At the same time, Jeff Bezos has also been selling a lot of his Amazon stock. And this is these are companies which these people love. And so you have to ask yourself, what are they going to do with that money? The reason why those guys are selling is because they think that the stock market is in a bubble. And the reason why the stock market is in a bubble is because Jerome Powell remains in office, and because there's money printing, which is going to go print, and they is artificially driving up prices. Now, I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that Elon Musk makes an announcement in the next couple of months that he's gone much further into Bitcoin. I'm not going to talk about other cryptos. I'm sure he's going to go into other cryptos, but he's going to say that he bought a whole lot more Bitcoin to hedge this market cycle. I think that that's what's happening. That's one of the things that we're seeing in the market cycle. We're also looking at the leverage, you see, because newbies when they come into the market, they don't look at the leverage. They just come into the market and think they're going to make a lot of money. We're seeing the leverage, and we're seeing that the leverage has come down a little bit, but not enough for us to go all fucking in. We're not all in on the leverage. So that's the second thing which we're seeing. The third thing which we're seeing is we're seeing something that nobody else is seeing because we're smarter than the other guys. Everybody is waiting for alt season. Even, hold on, let's just get Luke back here. See, so Luke is waiting for alt season, right? Luke, you're waiting for alt season, right?
I am.
And how will you know when it's alt season?
When alts are outperforming Bitcoin, especially from the the total 3.
Okay, but why are you saying total 3 and not total 2?
Because total 2 is more about Ethereum than all the other.
But Ethereum is about all the altcoins. So why aren't you looking at total 2?
Because I think Ethereum's confusing people.
You see, Luke's smart. He's not watching the BitBoy show anymore. He's been watching a little bit more of our show. BitBoy is the biggest influencer in crypto, for sure. What we are looking at, which no one else is looking at, is everyone is waiting for Ethereum to pop, or for total 2, which is the total market cap, including Ethereum, to pop. And that is a signal as to whether alt season is here or not here. Now, we think that's wrong, or I think that's absolutely wrong. Because I think that Ethereum has actually got in the way of alt season. I think that right now we should be focusing on a market cap excluding Ethereum and not treat Ethereum like an alt. I think Ethereum is stuck, and it is the wrong metric to look for when you're looking to see if alt season is coming. We've always said that the market cycle goes Bitcoin, then it goes Ethereum, then it goes Bitcoin, Ethereum, large cap alts, small cap alts, Bitcoin, Ethereum, large cap alts, small cap alts. But I think that this cycle actually might be different. And I think that the market cycle may skip Ethereum. In fact, I think we're already seeing it. We're seeing that Bitcoin went up, and now Ethereum went up, but not as much. And now you're getting other chains that are running, major alts, Avalanche, Solana, Luna, a whole lot of major alts that are running. And Ethereum isn't running. So whereas most people are looking at total 2, which is the alt chart, which includes Ethereum, we're actually understanding the market cycle, and we're going straight into total 3. You got to remember one thing, right? The difference between us and retail investors is that we don't subscribe to the retail investor sentiment. Now, retail investors will come in here and they will buy Ethereum. They will listen to Jim Cramer, right? Now, the thing with retail investors who listen to Jim Cramer is that even though he sounds smart, when you look at his statistics are not that smart. He's a great investor to follow. Just do the opposite of what he tells you, and you'll average 28% on each trade. That's a tweet by Dr. Parik Patel. He's very educated. He's got a BA, CFA, ACCA. Yeah. You know what? The only degree that, if you want to make it in the world, you don't need to have a BA, CFA, a CFA, ACCA. You don't need that. You don't need it. There's only one degree actually that you need to have if you want to make it in the world. This is a serious thing, Luke. This is a serious thing. Do you know what? The only degree that you have to have, it's not a BA, CFA, like Dr. Parik Patel. It's a BA. Do you know when you do law, you do an LLB. So it's LLB. You do a BA first and you do an LLB, right? That's like the law thing. I think that the only degree that you need to have is the BA LLS. You need a BA LLS. If you've got a BA LLS, then that's all you need. That if you want to succeed, all you need to have is you need to have BA LLS. That's it, BA LLS. Whether you're a male or a female, just grow some balls. And if you grow some balls, you will succeed out there. It's not about the degrees that you have. Anyway, let's go back to the studio that I actually want to burn and talk about what we are looking at. So the idea is to be patient and not to follow the retail investors, because the retail investors are looking at all the wrong metrics. They're going to follow Jim Cramer and they're going to get a whole lot of wrong calls, right? We need to look deeper. We need to look at things like the leverage. We need to look at the futures expirations, which we've looked at. We need to look at things like total 3, not total 2. We need to look at the leverage, which I showed you. And that is how we decide whether or not we're getting into the market. And then you need to have patience. You need to sit on your hands and you need to have patience and wait and wait and wait until you get the right opportunity. Now, we're lucky. because in crypto, the right opportunity comes around faster than you can ever imagine. You missed Solana, the next week you had Avalanche. You missed Avalanche, don't worry, you'll catch Arweave next week. Crypto provides us with so many opportunities that we don't actually need to FOMO into anything anymore, right? You don't need to FOMO in because, if you miss something, next week there'll be another thing. You missed StarLaunch, don't worry, next week is Monkey Balls. Monkey Ball, not Monkey Balls. So we get opportunities much more frequent than in any other industry. And so you mustn't be impatient. If you are impatient, you will FOMO into things and you'll miss out on amazing returns. And it's a big problem in this industry because retail comes here and wants to make life-changing money very, very, very quickly. They drive up the leverage and they destroy the whole market. Well, destroy the market is one thing, but if you know what you're doing, you can actually make a lot more money out of that because you understand the market cycle. When you are dealing with a new technology, you have to be patient. This is a new technology that is disrupting money, technology, the internet. And people are expecting it to disrupt all of that today. And that's exactly what Charles Hoskinson said. I don't know if you guys saw, but Charles had a tweet rant about me. Well, not about me. It was more about the show. Let's quickly go and I'll show you. So they were talking about he says, I cannot understand why Run decided to host such garbage. I won't be going to Crypto Banter again. It's pointless and creates ratings for the noise. We've got a clear line of sight for all our projects. After more than half a decade of hard work, it'll speak for itself. Now, what happened here was I hosted a show on Friday on Banter, the Banter show, with these guys, and they started talking about Cardano. And just take a listen to what was said. Heard anything about Cardano? I saw a tweet the other day, which I must say I did laugh about. They said we live in a world where Airbnb owns no hotels, Uber doesn't have cars and is valued at X billion. Airbnb has no assets and is valued at Y billion. And Cardano has no smart contracts and is valued at...
Hey, actually, you guys want to know something? Me and Charles Hoskinson were supposed to fight each other.
You were supposed to fight each other?
Yeah, I swear. Back in 2019, right before the pandemic. Yeah, we were scheduled to fight each other, but never went down.
I mean, is anyone? I think we're all investing in projects. Is anyone investing in anything on Cardano yet? Has anyone seen anything?
That was my point. I think David Sachs made it on the All-In podcast. Like I said the same thing to him. Like I've heard hundreds of pitches and I haven't heard anyone ever pitch me anything to do with Cardano.
Yeah, Cardano is a research project. I mean, look, it's an academic research project that holds huge promise for the future. I think aspects of what they're doing will make their way into other projects. I think a lot of enterprises are going to look hard at it because of the academic bent of Charles and the team that are working on it. But it's not going to get, well, whatever. Charles. I mean, but it's not going to get the developer community support.
It's the Xerox POC of
yeah. If you guys want to know something, originally Cardano was supposed to be a gambling.
I mean, they just bashed Cardano and bashed Cardano and bashed Cardano.
That's what it was originally supposed to be, and it was supposed to come out with its smart contracts for gambling in 2016.
Yeah, but it's never going to get the degen developer support that we're seeing with Solana and Ethereum and other projects. It's a PhD graveyard right now.
Well, if they want to, they need EVM support. I mean, you need EVM support if you want to have the degen developers, because every
well, no. I'm going to disagree with you there. I think that if you look at Solana, you're seeing a lot of amazing developers, and they're not migrating their EVM applications. It's all new applications written in Rust and written for Solana. So anyway, so that's what happened on the Friday Banter, and Charles obviously saw this. Now, I was very neutral throughout the whole thing because it's no big secret that I'm a big Cardano holder. I'm a big Cardano supporter. In fact, in solidarity, I wore my Cardano degen shirt. I invest in the projects. In fact, we invest in launch pads. We invested in multiple projects, ADA Finance, Ardana, which is, I think, launching today. We invest in a lot of Cardano projects, ADA Swap, which is coming out soon. We invest in a lot of Cardano projects. But Charles caught wind of this, and he went on his stream. Let's have a look at what he said.
I was catching up on some YouTube interviews and things like that. And, one in particular just made me think a bit. And I watched a bit of it, and, I just had to turn it off. It was the Crypto Banter interview with Vinny and Brian or Bill or whatever the hell his name is. And, of course, Molten Tar Monster number 3. I have no idea why Rand invites these types of people on his show. And it made me think a bit for how can there be such a difference between actual reality and the perception of reality? Why is that so significant? Our industry in general, but it's just a microcosm of a broader issue humanity is suffering from. We're starting to all live in a post-truth economy. We grew up with these ideas that, hey, if you want to go and fundamentally change all the systems of the world, that's probably pretty hard. If you want to go and build something very complex, like a fusion reactor, or go to Mars, or if you want to go and invent an entirely new field of academic study, that's probably a life's pursuit. It's probably a super hard problem. And there's an expectation that for super hard problems, you're going to have to bring together an interdisciplinary team of people, great engineers and great scientists and great business people and great marketers and great politicians and great people all around to kind of do that great endeavor. This is how I grew up. This is how most people listening grew up. But now we live in this bizarre post-truth economy where being a unicorn means nothing. It used to be you do a startup, and the startup is worth $1 billion. They call it a unicorn. Wow, that's an incredible accomplishment. My Lord, look at this thing. And now it's just like, whatever. What have you done for me today? Cardano as a project, if you take the industry aside for a moment, and you take a look at all the things that have been achieved in this project, an army of scientists were brought together. It's not a graveyard of PhDs. They're at the top of their field. They're offered tenure. People call them on a regular basis, try to get them to lead their blockchain groups. It's the top research in the entire industry. The best papers in the entire industry by citation count and relevance. People at the top of their game came together, an army of scientists, an army of engineers came together, a giant community came together. And that community has enabled Cardano to grow to such a scale that it's a self-sustaining ecosystem. There's a massive NFT group, tons of people doing interesting things, airdrops all the time, marketplaces form.
So I think what Charles is alluding to is absolutely right. And that is that people see this game in terms of the returns that they're making today and overnight, but that's not how we should be looking at this game. And that's exactly what led me to start thinking about my ETH position. If you take a look at the difference between ETH and Cardano, and I'm using two extremes, but we can talk about that in context of many other blockchains. ETH took a very different approach from Cardano. ETH launched. They launched a product which could do 15 transactions per second. It was the only decentralized smart contract platform. And what happened with ETH was super interesting. They got more traction than they could ever have hoped for and imagined. And as a result of ETH getting this amazing traction, ETH cannot handle the transactions. ETH is broken. ETH is today useless. ETH was designed to be a smart contract platform to bring DeFi and to bring financial freedom and smart contracts to the masses. And if you think about Ethereum today, I think it's pretty much impossible to use. It's impossible to use for people like you and I. Sometimes I want to go and do a transaction. It takes forever. And not only does it take forever, but it costs me $700 to put through a transaction, not to mention the number of failed transactions that happen when the network is congested. ETH is not usable. And ETH took a different approach to Cardano. Ethereum launched quickly, and they decided to try and fix along the way. Cardano did a whole lot of research and launched something which will work perfectly when it launches, or may probably work perfectly when it launches. And a lot of people are actually becoming disillusioned with ETH, even some of their biggest supporters. So Suzu, who is today one of the most astute investors in the space, said, yes, I have abandoned Ethereum despite supporting it in the past. Yes, Ethereum has abandoned its users despite supporting them in the past. The idea of sitting around jerking off, watching the burn and concocting purity tests while zero newcomers can afford the chain is gross. And so we are in a position now where even though ETH was first to market and has network effects in terms of developers building on it and venture capitalists investing on it and number of active addresses using it, ETH has now come to a point where ETH cannot work. It cannot work. And we're seeing it as venture capitalists. We're seeing it in terms of the developers that are building on the chain. I must say, we're open to investing in any chain, any project building in any chain whatsoever, providing we like the chain. And of late, the only projects that I'm seeing are Luna projects, Solana projects, Avalanche projects, Thorchain projects. I'm not seeing anything building on Ethereum. I haven't invested in a project that is building on Ethereum for a hell of a long time. Not only that, the projects that are on Ethereum, the big projects that are on Ethereum are moving off Ethereum. If you look at projects like Aave and a whole lot of others, what they're doing is that they're becoming cross-chain or being migrated to other chains. And the market is getting absolutely frustrated with ETH. Antonio from DYDX says, this is a much hard, so time for the risky tweet of the day. This is said much harder than I would put it, but I somewhat directionally agree. ETH has not executed over the past 4 years. I can't think of a single 10x useful improvement that Ethereum has made in the past 4 years, okay? And that is because Ethereum launched too soon, and it requires a whole lot of system upgrades, and the system upgrades are much more complicated than they anticipated, and so they keep pushing out the roadmap. If you look at the last roadmap that they published, they're talking about addressing scalability in 2023. Okay, 2023, they're going to address scalability. Now, the problem is that blockchain technology has taken off so fast with NFTs, with DeFi, with a whole lot of different applications that are now being built on blockchain technology, that the market cannot wait until 2023. And so the market now has this decision to make. Stay on Ethereum or build it in another chain. And if you're going to build it in another chain, there are many different options for the chains that you can build it on. Two distinct type of options. One type of option is to build it on an EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine compatible chain. Basically, for the layman, if you want to understand what EVM is, I might actually have a very simple way of explaining what EVM is for you guys here. Do I? Yes, I do. So EVM is a computation engine which acts like a decentralized computer that has millions of executable projects. It acts as a virtual computer, so to speak, which is the bedrock of Ethereum's entire operating structure. It is considered to be part of Ethereum that runs and executes the smart contracts. So it's almost like the computer that executes the smart contracts. They call it the Ethereum virtual computer, which runs on all the computers that are miners or validating on Ethereum, okay? Now, if you build on a chain that is EVM compatible, BSC is EVM compatible, Avalanche is an EVM compatible machine, then immediately it becomes much simpler for you to build because you're using language that already exists. You're using language where there are already a lot of miners and there's a whole supercomputer that can execute on your EVM transaction. So when people move off Ethereum, either they're going to move onto other EVM compatible machines, and that is what you're seeing now. That is the same reason why Avalanche exploded and why BSC exploded at some stage. Now, BSC exploded at some stage, but that chain is so badly maintained that the problem is no serious application is going to use BSC as its primary chain. And so, yes, you're getting a whole lot of projects launching on BSC, but when was the last time that you saw a really big project launching primarily and only on BSC? Kind of doesn't exist. That is why you're seeing a massive spike in Avalanche, because Avalanche is EVM compatible. It is EVM compatible, and it is a good chain. And so what you're seeing developers move off Ethereum and move onto Avalanche and other EVM compatible chains. The investors are kind of following suit. Now, this is a bearish short-term ETH analysis and 200,000 Ethereum inflow onto central exchanges. The retail investor is buying Ethereum, but the smart investors are saying, hold on, Ethereum is probably not going to work until 2023, and they're probably better chains to invest in. Some of them are EVM compatible, like Avalanche, and others are not, and that's things like Solana and all the other ones that we've been looking at. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, hold on a second, but there is scalability being built on ETH, but it's being built on layer 2 Ethereum. So you've got things like Loopring, Arbitrum, ZK rollups, you've got Immutable X. But the truth is, as Kyle Samani points out over here, he says, here we go, he says, hold on, I want to just have a look here. He says, Polygon is not Ethereum. It may be part of Ethereum in the future if you pull off all the ORU ZKR stuff, but to suggest that it's part of Ethereum right now is a lie. And that is, yes, of course, EVM scaling solutions that are built off chains are great, but they are not Ethereum. And so developers are now faced with a choice. Should we build on Ethereum or an EVM compatible chain, or shouldn't we? Now, here's where it gets super, super, super interesting. Remember that EVM compatibility means that it's Ethereum virtual machine compatible. Okay, think about that. Ethereum virtual machine compatible, which means that if Ethereum changes what they do and you built on an EVM compatible machine, you may have to change what you do. So Tushar, who's Kyle's partner, says, I find it hard to be long-term bullish on alternative EVM chains because they don't own their relationship with the developers. Ethereum does. If you want to build your own ecosystem, compatibility is a bug, not a feature. So this is where it starts getting interesting. Now you're in this world, in blockchain, where you have a decision to make. Do you want to build on EVM, on Ethereum, and exclude the masses at least until 2023? Do you want to build on layer 2 Ethereum, or do you want to build on a EVM compatible blockchain? Or should you abandon EVM completely like Solana did, like Luna did, like Cardano did, and start your own chain, which is becoming specialist? And that is the shift that is happening right now on the market. You're getting this tug of war between Ethereum, then Ethereum EVM compatible chains with BSC, Avalanche, etc., and then non-EVM compatible chains, things like Luna, things like Arweave, things like Solana, things like Cardano. And we don't know which approach is going to win. But what I do think is that I do know which one may not win. And I think that Ethereum is the one that's going to suffer the most, because the adoption of blockchain is not going to wait for Ethereum. And you're already seeing that the smart developers and the smart money is starting to invest in other blockchains, which is why you see Solana growing so quickly. Now, this is not designed to shill Solana, but let's look at ranking of developer accounts. Now, remember, when they talk about Solana, when they talk about Ethereum, they're talking about EVM, all the EVM chains. Number one is Solana, then all the EVM chains, then Elrond, then Algorand, then Terra, then Avalanche, then Phantom. Phantom is EVM compatible. It's a scaling solution effectively for Ethereum because it is EVM compatible. So what you're seeing now is you're seeing that the developer contributors are actually starting to build on other blockchains, on Solana, on Algorand, on Luna, etc. Now, the notion that the first mover has the biggest advantage, and I know you say, okay, Ethereum was here first, they've got the biggest network effects. Garbage, bad, wrong. I know you want to think that, but actually being first in this case is a disadvantage because first launched too quickly. First is broken, okay? First is broken. And the competing chains have had Ethereum's roadmap to look at. They saw where Ethereum went wrong and they fixed it, and then they launched. And that's why when it took MetaMask, 4 years? It took 4 years for MetaMask to get to 1 million active users. It took Phantom Wallet, 1 year? 1 year. So you see, they're getting the Phantom Wallet, which is a Solana wallet, took 1 year to get to where Ethereum got to in 4 years. It's not an advantage being first. In this case, it's a disadvantage being first because first you're a testing ground. Everything was broken. You're trying to fix it, but your competitors are coming back and their product is actually fixed. So that is being first is actually not an advantage in this case. And the problem is that if we wait for Vitalik to fix ETH 2.0, we might actually look like this. By the time I'm going to look like that, by the time ETH 2.0 launches. And that is a problem. That's a problem. Also, look at the usage statistics. Active addresses. Solana has 1.5 million active addresses. What is an active address? An active address is someone who can actually afford to and actually does use your network. Yes, everybody started an Ethereum address. We all started Ethereum addresses, but we can't use them because the gas fees are too high. We go to Solana, we start an address, and then we use the address every single day. And that's why if you look at active addresses, Solana has 1.5 million active addresses, and Ethereum has 750,000 active addresses because people can afford to use the addresses. And so you can see that being first, even though they have the most development on the chain, it's not, what's the right word? It's not an advantage to be first. It's actually a disadvantage to be first here. The second and the third players in the industry will probably beat the first player in the industry. Now, I know that all the people that invested in ETH early, and so did I, invested in ETH early, are going to complain. How can you say that? How can you say that Ethereum is going to be taken over by Solana and by maybe even Avalanche and by maybe even Cardano? I think it's going to happen. I think that Ethereum is not suitable for its use case. And remember, when something has network effects, there are 3 things that can stop it. Only 3 things in the world can break something that has network effects. One is government intervention. So let's put that one aside. That's not going to happen. The next one is a 10 times better competitor. Maybe some of the competitors are better, but maybe they're not 10 times better. Although I think some of the technologies may be 10 times better than Ethereum. But the other thing that Ethereum has got going against it is the last thing that can break network effect. And that is what you call technological failure. If the technology is not suitable for its need and you cannot fix it in a reasonable amount of time, reasonable is not 2023, then people will break the network and go somewhere else. And that is exactly what we're seeing. The big projects of Ethereum are migrating off Ethereum onto other chains. New projects are building on Solana, on Avalanche, on Cardano, and on a whole lot of other chains. And bridges to bridge between Ethereum and the other chains are becoming the hottest narrative in the world. Why? Because the ETH technology is broken. And the ETH developers and venture capitalists are holding on to this dream, this EVM dream. And they're looking for Ethereum virtual machine compatible chains. But I actually think that the future is not going to be EVM. I think that EVM was like the first iteration. And I think that it's going to be improved multiple times by way better protocols like Luna, like Cardano, like Solana. And that is why I think Ethereum is not going to win. And this is natural for almost every single industry in the world. I'm going to remind you, in the internet, we had, what's it called, America Online? What was the big, AOL, remember AOL? America Online, AOL. Where's AOL today, guys? They were the biggest at one point in time. Pets.com, yeah, or Pets.com. Also, let me give you another one. Nokia, Motorola. I want to remind you that when mobile phones launched, everybody had a Motorola with a flap, and then after that, everybody had a Nokia phone. If you didn't have a Nokia phone, you weren't cool. Do you know anyone today that has a Nokia phone? No, you don't. Why? Because Nokia wasn't fit for purpose. And when BlackBerry came, and BlackBerry was much faster, and the operating system was much better, BlackBerry overtook Nokia despite the network effects that it had. And then today you've got Android and you've got iOS, which has completely disrupted Nokia, and no one in the world that I know actually uses a Nokia phone. And so this is a normal cycle for any emerging technology. Do not marry your early investments, because the early investment is not actually the one that usually wins the race. The strategy is to take multiple investments on multiple different approaches. Take a whole lot of small bets on multiple different approaches. Some approaches which are going to launch very fast, like Ethereum, launch fast and break things and try and fix them. Some approaches which will launch not as fast, but do very well, like Solana, and some approaches which will take a much longer term approach. You have to remember one thing. You need to be patient. Patience means sitting on your hands and letting this technology make the big impact in the world that it's supposed to make. And it's not a one-day race, and it's not a one-month race, and it's not a one-year race, and maybe not even a one-decade race. It's a long-term race. And to pick your winners so early, to say that Ethereum is going to win so early in the race, is like picking a marathon winner after you've run 1 mile. It's like you see them running out the gates, and you say, okay, the winner's going to be Ethereum because they've run 1 mile. What usually happens, if you look at a marathon, if you watch any kind of race, the one that runs fast in the beginning usually doesn't win the marathon. And blockchain disruption is a marathon. And you cannot write off very different approaches in this industry. And so the reason why I think it's time to sell my ETH is because I think I backed Ethereum too hard, too early in the race. And when I saw Solana, I took out a big portion of my Ethereum and I put it into Solana. And now I'm saying to myself, hold on a second. I don't know which protocol. I don't even know which approach is going to win. Is it going to be EVM, not EVM? Is it going to be a slow approach or a fast approach? Because we're in a marathon and we've only just taken the first mile. And there are people screaming that Ethereum is going to win or Solana is going to win. I'm saying, I don't know who's going to win. I don't think it's going to be Ethereum. I think there's a good chance it may be Solana. It may even be Cardano. It may even be a protocol that we haven't even invested in yet. It may even be a protocol that we haven't even invested in yet. And so the best strategy in a time like this is to take multiple small bets on different protocols, deploying different approaches, and then to sit on your hands and to give them enough time and support to do their thing. And ultimately, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of them will win. And when they win, you will make thousands and thousands and thousands of extra returns. More returns than you can ever imagine, because these technologies are going to change the world. And some of them may die. But that's the game we're playing. And don't think that just because Ethereum was in the lead after 1 mile of the full marathon, that it's going to be ahead at the very end. Because I can guarantee you that that's not going to be the case. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think. I'm going to start selling some of my Ethereum. I'm going to be investing it into other layer ones. Some of the layer ones are going to be layer ones that exist today. Avalanche, Luna, Cardano. Some of them haven't even come out yet. I'm going to keep investing in these layer ones because we're early in the race. And I've got a long-term approach. I'm patient. I'm not here to make money today or tomorrow. Yeah, we can have some fun, we can trade, but I'm here for the long game. I showed you guys that every cycle, the market gives you better and better returns. The tokens that I held from 2017 only exploded in 2021. The tokens that I'm buying in 2021 are going to explode in 2024. I'm here for the long term, and I'm going to take multiple bets, and I'm going to hold them, and I'm going to give them enough time and enough support to do their thing. That's me for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think that Ethereum is going to make it through as the number one, or whether we should start placing some other bets. Let's see. Let me know in the comments. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, invest well, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our biggest show of the year. Why does Freddie always come on that?
Back to robot voice.
Bro. Beep beep boop.